Lesson 21, Roman capitals and swash variations. The word swash is very interesting. It comes from the same word as in swashbuckling, and it was when the swordsman would beat their sword against someone's shield. So they'd be bashing it from side to side, and that's called the swash. But in capitals and in penmanship, the swash is when you actually create one of these flourishes or pen lifts on the letters. First of all, we're going to look at the Roman capitals in their basic form with the basic proportions. So let's look at the A. So the rule for Roman capitals is that you must always start at the top and move from top to bottom, and left to right. So the most important thing with the A is that the cross stroke should be just a little bit below the centre. So in actual fact, you're dividing the space, the actual white space, between the top of the letter and the bottom. So A is done like that. Now if I wanted to add a swash, I will now come down and flick up, and down and flick up. I could even go down and flick up and put the crossbar in. So that would be a more cursive capital A, based on the correct proportions of the A from Roman times. In Roman times, each letter was designed to fit into a square and took up a proportion of the square. So the capital A actually took up 3/4 of the square. They took a little bit off each side of the square and then fitted the A into the box. So it's quite wide at the base, but it's not a narrow letter. It's quite a wide letter. The idea of the square was designed for the stonemasons who would write the Roman capitals up on the columns, and of course it was always very elegant and very perfectly proportioned. So every stonemason knew how to chisel out those letters in exactly the right proportions. So using those rules, we come to the B. So if we start the B with a downstroke, that's always the first stroke, top to bottom, and then we move left to right, and finish at the bottom. So with the B, the most important thing is that it's only a half-size letter, so it's not really filling up the whole box. The bottom one is edging further out, the bottom bulb, so that is your capital B. Capital C, this one's a very wide letter, and you start at the top. It's got a heavier curve on the top than on the bottom, so it pushes back further and then ends a little shorter on the bottom curve. This is a wide letter, the letter C, and so there's not a lot you can do to flourish it, except in the copperplate days you might have added a flourish in here, given it a flourish, something like this maybe. Looks nice. Now the D letter. The D, once again, you move top to bottom, then go back to the top, and come along the top, the right, and finish to the left. So there you have the D. It's once again a wide letter. The E is also going to be a letter where we start at the top to bottom. We can go back to the top, left to right, left to right, left to right. So the trick with an E to make it look elegant is always to make the middle bar the same length as the outer two horizontals and have it slightly above the middle this time, whereas the A, we wanted the crossbar slightly below the middle. Now we want the E to have the crossbar slightly above the middle. So the centre bar, it's called, rests above the centre line. The F, we can come to the F now, top to bottom, left to right, and the trick with this one is the centre line can rest slightly right on the middle, or even slightly below the middle, and it will look very elegant. Now there are many nice versions of the F, so if you wanted to flourish, you'd simply start a little higher, and then you would swing out and come along in this way. So there's your flourished F. You might put a little foot underneath the bottom, and you'd have a flourished F. If you wanted to do a copperplate version, well, it's quite different and always looks amazingly elegant. So that will have to wait though till you study copperplate.